Hi, I'm Hisnara, the editor of CheekyLittleCareers.com. I'm delighted to say that I've been reunited with Daniel Lowe, who I spoke to probably about a year ago when he was still working at UBS. He's now got a new job, which he'll tell us about in a moment. But let me ask Daniel sort of just to tell me what he's been up to since we last spoke. How are you, Daniel?
I'm doing well, Hassan. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. Yeah, it's sunny in London at the moment, so very happy. What's life
That's quite rare.
Indeed, indeed. But spring has definitely sprung. What's life like in Singapore?
Singapore is sunny as usual, 32 degrees and a punchy 85% humidity. So it's quite good.
Is that why you needed a bit more of some hot flames in the background to create a bit more heat, just in case?
Yeah, I was trying to create a bit more ambience, as if I'm in a colder environment, but I'm clearly not.
Great. So just to get viewers up to speed, why don't you give them a plotted history of your career? Because you've had a pretty, colourful sort of journey, haven't you, to get to where you've got.
Yeah. Yeah, certainly. And I'm, happy to provide this now. And I know that we have a previous link that we spoke about as well. So I'm sure you can post that as well. But yeah, I mean, I'm from Canada, originally from Toronto, and went over to the UK to do my law school, University of Birmingham, and I wrote the LPC. But when I was graduating, it was basically the financial crisis. So unable to secure a job in the city, I went back to Toronto and I did my LLM in securities law. And at that point, I worked 2 years in a kind of quasi-legal role as a derivatives negotiator at an investment bank. At that point, I didn't know whether I wanted to go into law or do investment banking or something else. But after that, decided, you know what, let's qualify, let's make my mom and dad proud. So I joined Dentons in Canada and I qualified in their M&A energy group, practiced for a year after my training contract, and then I moved to Hong Kong, joined a PE firm in-house, and decided to actually go back into a law firm because I realized that my legal technical skills were a bit lacking. So I joined Walker's, an offshore Cayman law firm in
Yeah.
Singapore. Did that for 2 years, investment funds, PE work. And then, as you said, when we connected, I was at UBS in their asset management team in-house again. So you see, I could do a lot of back and forth here and there. Did that for 18 months. And then most recently, I joined a crypto startup company in Singapore as their general counsel, doing decentralized financing and basically any Web3, that kind of area.
Now, what's your reason for moving? We'll talk about crypto in a moment because it's a bit of a mystery to me, and I do think it would help for you to explain to me what it's all about. But why the change first?
Yeah, I guess like the term that everyone throws around is the great resignation, right? During last year, COVID, everyone has kind of realized why they're doing something or trying to figure out what the purpose is. And I think for me, I realized the purpose for me was, did I want to continue down the path of investment funds? I was already fairly deep into it and I could have specialized even further, but did it, did I feel excited waking up doing it? And that was a resounding no. So I had to find out, what other interests do I have that I can merge with my legal skills and background? So at the time, I was exploring NFTs, exploring a lot of the decentralized finance products out there on my own. So I thought, what would be great to kind of transition into a legal role that allows me to do that, to kind of get engrossed in that topic while kind of developing my legal skills. So it kind of just happened that a role opened up and I got through.
And so you're now in a crypto startup, is that right? Okay.
Yes.
What is crypto?
What is crypto? I guess uh, I use the word digital assets. So instead of kind of real life assets, you got digital assets, digital gold, which what people call Bitcoin. There's a lot of tokens and coins out there. Difference between coins and tokens is coins belong to a native blockchain, whereas tokens is a kind of derivative of a blockchain. So Ethereum coin, Bitcoin belong to the Bitcoin blockchain and Ethereum blockchain. Tokens, ERC20 belong on the Ethereum blockchain, but are not actually the native token, native coin. So a lot of differences there. But yeah, crypto is basically that digital money, digital payments.
Sure. And explain to me how that works in the real world then. Because
Yeah, so
I don't have cryptocurrencies in my purse. Well, I can't because it's obviously not tangible, but I certainly don't have it in my bank account. So, how does it relate to the world that we live in?
I think it's actually quite similar in the sense that if you look at paper money today,
Yeah.
um, we barely use paper money as is because we use our Apple Pay, we use our credit card and tap. All this is basically collected on a ledger, a centralized ledger by either Visa or the Fed and whatnot that tracks all these transactions. So what we're doing here with crypto is exactly the same thing. There is a distributed ledger on certain blockchains that record your transactions. So instead of paying money or tapping, you essentially type in a wallet address and you send from me to you. I'll type in your address and I'll send you 1 Bitcoin because somehow I'm rich. I'll send you 1 Bitcoin and you receive it into your address. And from your wallet, you can kind of decide whether to spend it all or keep it there or use your money in another way. Kind of like if you have money in your savings account, you can choose to put towards a loan or a debt instrument, whatever you want. So it's very similar in that sense, but it's just everything is digital, everything is virtual.
But where does the money originate from? Because in terms of pound sterling, that's the Bank of England.
Right. So this is all backed by kind of fiat. So your actual cash in hand. So when you put your USD in or your pounds into an exchange, you exchange your real money into kind of virtual money, and then
Got
with
it.
that,
Okay.
it's
Understood.
kind of pegged. Yeah.
Okay. And can you just differentiate between, so let's go through the jargon again. So you've got digital assets is the umbrella phrase, okay? And then
Yeah.
you've got crypto tokens and cryptocurrency.
Yeah, so crypto tokens and crypto coins,
Coins.
they essentially do the same thing. They are a medium of payment, but coins are the ones that belong to a native blockchain that is used to pay for certain things like gas fees. Gas fees is basically a transaction fee, if you will, that you need to pay for you to do a transaction. So right now, the thing is with Ethereum, gas fees are quite high to transact. So many people are trying to find better blockchains to do this or to do their transactions or to build a new app on. So coins pay for transaction fees, but it's also a kind of like a holding a medium of value like Bitcoin.
Got you. Okay. And where's this heading? What's the future? Because there aren't that. There was a prediction, wasn't there, that this was going to take over the world, and it hasn't got there yet.
I think it takes some time, as with kind of when we transition from, like a gold standard into kind of the where we are today. It takes some time for a global consensus on payments to come about.
Sure.
Um, I mean, I think it really, especially with how we're looking at last year, we were looking at the evolution of DeFi. So 2020 was DeFi, which is decentralized financing. It's essentially how you spend your digital assets and how digital assets can make you residual income. Last year was focusing on NFTs, so non-fungible tokens, and what that means for tokenization of. I know right now they're kind of selling overpriced JPEGs, but later on you can tokenize a building, and then you can have a stake in, say, buying a token in that building to own a portion of it. So this year we're focusing on NFTs and that kind of technology. Next year we're focusing on GameFi, which I predict is going to take over because GameFi is how you gamify finance, how you make investing fun. So you play a game and you can actually earn tokens, earn Bitcoin, and you can put that Bitcoin into a product that can earn you residual income. So this is all, these kind of trends and themes are all part of the evolution towards making crypto mainstream.
Okay. And where do lawyers come into all of this?
Where does, sorry?
Where do lawyers fit in to all of this?
Where do lawyers fit in? So I get a few law students actually asking me, I've very caught up with the whole crypto industry. I want to get into crypto law right away. How do I do that? And the first thing I have to say is there's no such thing as crypto law. Crypto is in an industry. It's kind of like a tech industry group. It's like a finance industry
Sure.
group.
Got you.
So for me to advise how to get crypto law, I would say focus on your core corporate skills, because a lot of the crypto companies here need M&A experience, need corporate secretarial help. They do financing, they raise funds. So having this experience is actually quite helpful for crypto companies. So that's the value add as a lawyer. But the second part of it is regulatory. Crypto is, there's so many countries around the world that's trying to regulate crypto and also crypto advertising. So staying on top of that is quite important for in-house lawyers in a crypto company.
And in terms of you said that it's not really a practice area. So as an aspiring solicitor, you shouldn't be looking to say that you're going to become a crypto lawyer because it's a sector, like as you've highlighted. But are there, and you mentioned M&A and regulatory, etc. But if you were to apply for a training contract, what sort of firms should you be targeting that are likely to be in this space? Presumably it's ones that have large finance practices where they sit alongside the regulatory teams.
Absolutely. To be honest, that's 80% of my work, corporate and regulatory. The other 20% is maybe IP and managing litigation. So I would recommend that finding a practice, a firm that actually does majority corporate work, but with some kind of technology TMT on the side. And IP exposure is great, but by no means do you need to be an expert.
And what do you think makes for a good sort of skill set for someone who wants to focus on work that you do?
I think genuinely being interested in the area, because it's such a fast moving area. Terms come up, new products come up within, say, DeFi that you need to kind of wrap your head around, understanding whether it's a loan or whether it's a promissory note. These kind of basic core concepts you need to understand. So if you don't care for crypto, you won't care to understand these underlying concepts. So I think really having a deep dive into the topic and kind of developing that as you grow your career as well.
How is this sector being regulated? Because it seems a bit like the Wild West out there.
Yeah, it really depends on the country you're in. So say in Singapore, crypto is managed, regulated by the Monetary Authority of Singapore, which is the regulator here. And they regulate everything from the issuance of crypto tokens, ICOs, to basically NFTs and even crypto advertising. They've recently kind of decided that Singapore will be banning all crypto advertisements here.
Got you. Okay. And what does your typical day involve in your new role?
Typical day, I would say in the morning, I would be checking all my emails from overnight because my team both sits in Singapore and also Europe. So a lot of overnight emails. I break it up to 6 buckets. So there's regulatory, there's BD and marketing, there's IP, there's transactions, there's litigation, and then also there is, did I say regulatory already? Maybe that was the only 5 buckets. But yeah, that basically, it really depends on the day. I'm juggling whatever comes through the door. So if the team says, we have a new product launch in Q1, Q2, we need the terms and conditions drafted. So I need to engage external counsel and start that right away. But also if our IP counsel comes back and says there's an objection to your IP, what do you want to do here? So you need to kind of switch gears right away. So that it really is a mixed bag every day.
And what does 2022 look like for you, Daniel?
2022 looks busy. I think as crypto becomes a bit more mainstream, there will be a lot more interest from mainstream players like the banks, investors and whatnot. So crypto companies can look towards that, having more investment, perhaps from VCs and PE firms, but also from traditional finance institutions.
Great, thank you. Well, it was really good catching up with you. And hopefully we'll do it again in a year's time. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd love to. Thank you.